Hey, welcome back to Historic Investments. I know we usually tend to focus on semi-automatic pistols, but we've got something today that I think you'll be interested in. It's just larger than a bread box. In fact, it will fit into an attaché case. Have you ever taken the wrong attaché case to a meeting and instead of taking out some papers, well, you take out your trusty Uzi. So in this case, we're going to focus on the Uzi A. Let's look at some of the details. Uzi developed this rifle in about 1950, and it was issued to the Israeli troops in the mid-1950s, between 1954 and 1956. But more importantly, civilians, and the people that most of us are watching this video, weren't able to get their hands on their Uzis until about 1980. By that time, it had already been well entrenched in the Israeli military and adopted by many of what would soon be 90 different countries. In fact, for those of you who kind of remember Reagan's assassination attempt by Hinckley, there were several really striking images of one of the Secret Service agents who whipped out an Uzi looking just like this out of a briefcase very similar to the one you just saw. There are two types of Uzis, an Uzi A and an Uzi B. Let's take a look at the Uzi A, because if you're going to put one in your collection, you want the one that most closely resembles the military Uzi, and that's the Model A. So if you're thinking about adding one of these Uzis to a collection, this is really the one you want. You don't want the Micro, the Mini, the Uzi Pro. You don't want one in 45. Well, maybe you want one, and we all kind of like all these different things, but this, if you just want one, this is the classic gun, and this is as it was sold by Israeli Military Industries. It was boxed with a dummy barrel, so here it kind of looks like an SBR, but this is absolutely a dummy barrel with no bore. But in the box was the regulation legal 16 1/8 inch barrel. There are some differences between the A and B, and as a collector you'd say, well, how many Uzis were made? Well, approximately 72,000 Uzis were made and imported. They were made by Israeli Military Industries and imported by Action Arms. The Model A was offered from about 1980 to 83, and the Model B from 83 to about 1989. So let's talk about the differences, because there are a few differences between the A and the B, but the easiest thing, of course, is to just look at the gun. Here, we can cone in here a little bit, and you can see, there it is. Uzi Semi-Auto Model A 9mm Para, Israeli Military Industries, IMI, Israel. Let's take a look at the front sight. It's just like the selective fire issue guns, in which the front sight is adjustable for both elevation and for windage. A small item, but the lanyard ring on the Model A is only rotatable 90 degrees. There it is. Vertical, horizontal, that's it. On the Model B, it freely rotates. Let's look at the rear sight. The rear sight on the original Uzis and the Model A is adjustable. It's a two-position adjustable sight. Here it is 200 meters, and you can flip it to 100 meter, and the screw head is small. The Model B, by contrast, the sight is numbered 1 and 2, and it's got a much larger head. At this point, let's take a look at the articulating folding stock, because again, this is the classic stock. You pull it down, it articulates out, and it locks into place. Once you want to release the stock, you release the major articulation at the frame. You squeeze here to change the articulation, the distal articulation. You can push it in, and then this part just locks up into place. Major controls are pretty standard. Here's your fire, here's your safe position. It's got a bottom magazine release, and as sold, they were supplied with two stick magazines, each one with a 25-shot capacity. Of course, most of you guys want to shoot your Uzi, not just look at it. I mean, looking is great, but really that's not why it was made. So there's a little locking lever here. You need to depress this, and then you can release this collar. We'll unscrew that, and then we'll take out the dummy barrel, and you can see it's just a stub, and there's no bore. There's no bore. This is literally just a dummy solid aluminum tube. So let's exchange that with the real barrel. Here's again, it's a 16th and 1/8 inch barrel, and it's got a little bit of a recess on the end for the chamber. We're gonna put that here and put that in. It's really simple. There it is. And now we just need to lock it in place. We'll put that collar back on, and then we'll just screw it on and depress it so that the collar and barrel are locked into place. There we go. So now let's just put in the magazine and let us rack the bolt back. You can see that opens the chamber. Here it is, it's on fire, ready to go. Thanks again for joining us at Historic Investments. I hope you found this video interesting and enjoyable. If you like what you saw, please like and subscribe. We certainly appreciate your support. And at this point, I think I'm going to draw this meeting to a close and put my Uzi away in my trusty attaché case. Good luck and good collecting.